I'm going to go over the steps on how to make a flannel board story with any picture book. So first I go through every page. I'm using Dinosaur Zoom as an example. I go through every page and I make a list of all of the characters that I want. This has really nice end pages so you could see all the dinosaurs, and the back has all of the vehicles that are used. There's also a really nice set of books from the same author, so I can use the same characters for a lot of them. So I make a list of what I'm going to need, color code it, and then I pull out all of the pieces of flannel. So I usually get 4 to a sheet, and then this is the list of the main characters, so there's 12. You could just make 2 of everything and double it if you needed 24. Also, I made a list of extras, so there's background characters, and then at the end of the book there's a birthday party. So I'm thinking about making some party hats, presents, which are really easy and just squares, and I found this really cute sprinkle felt, so I'm going to do that big cake at the end of the story. The method I use for making flannel boards with the felt sheets, you can just take a piece of computer paper, find an image. I'm trying to match like the Megalosaurus, so this was pretty close. So I take a piece of paper. You could use it as a template. If you want to make more than one, you can either use a Sharpie or a ballpoint pen works pretty well on the felt, so you can make an outline like that. This one's pretty small. You could probably get 8 to 1 sheet. You know, if you do like this, if you need that many for the class, or you can just, you know, cut it here and save it for another story. So either one works. See, the Sharpie is a little bit thicker. You just want to cut on the inside of that line because the pen and the Sharpie will come off on your fingers after a little while. And then you can cut those out. I'm going to making it like this from the story. So it's going to be red and probably have like the little like dots on it. So I just use 3D dimensional paint. So anything with a tip like this, you could use puffy paint, or sometimes it's called 3D dimensional paint. I keep just the basic colors in stock, nothing too fancy. You could get fancy. Some of them like are metallic. Some of them have glitter in them. They're a lot of fun, so you can use that after you cut everything out. You can paint it, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I have my felt prepped. What I did was, you can actually double up. So I have a few different pieces cut, so I don't have to outline a bunch of them. I can cut them all. If you have a good pair of scissors, you can cut them all at the same time. So I just kind of had some shapes. You don't want anything too intricate because the kids will pull on it and they'll fall apart. So making some shapes like this, the Stegosaurus, and then just a few generic sort of shapes. If you mess up, it doesn't really matter. You can just keep going. So I have everything prepped. I also wanted to do a few extras. Sometimes, you know, the pieces get lost. So at the end of the story, the dinosaurs are having a big birthday bash, so they have party hats, cake, cupcakes. So sometimes you could find really cool felt like this. So I just cut out a birthday cake. These are going to be party hats, and they'll actually fit on the dinosaurs' heads, which will be really funny. The kids love that. Made a cupcake too. You could just leave it like this, or you could put a little cupcake liner. There were presents mentioned, so I cut just some fun little fabric that had ribbons on it to represent presents. So now I'm going to cut everything out and then use the puffy paint to do all the detail work. So once everything is cut out like this, I lay everything out and then paint everything all at once. So here we are, just cutting out the blue convertible. I have 2 layers here. 2's not too bad. I have done up to 4 if they're pretty simple. If they're intricate, it gets a little tricky and it might not cut through all the pieces, but you could definitely do 2 comfortably if you have a good pair of scissors, so that cuts down on all of the prep time. So I just cut on the inside of the line. If you leave it on there, sometimes you will get some marker that comes off on fingers. So if you're doing something simple, you can just cut the shape and leave it. You don't even have to paint it. If you are going to paint it, you know, I just use black and white most of the time. You can get really fancy and get different glitter ones or anything with, you know, different colors that match the actual book, but pretty simple. And here's the prep for painting. So now we have two that are going to be the same. So we got the red dinosaur driving the blue convertible. Okay, so now I have all of my pieces cut. I put them in a pile in order of where they occur in the book. So the first page is the red dinosaur driving the blue convertible here. So on the end pages of this particular book, it has the convertible. So basically I just keep 3 colors in stock, black, white, and brown. The only other tools you'll need are like little paper towels, because see how it kind of bleeds a little bit. These last forever. I've had a lot of these bottles for years and years and years. You don't need much. Very simple. And then the only other thing is you might need a push pin to push the top in if it gets stuck. So I do really quick, just a couple of little lines here to represent like a car. So I'll do that, and the steering wheel. And then I'll just use maybe some black, which is kind of, it's been a while. I had to open these up with a little push pin. And we'll do the wheels like this. So I do it really simple, nothing crazy. Anybody could do it. Let it dry, pile them up in order, and I'll show you what that looks like when they're ready to go. And now that I have all of my finished flannel pieces, I put them in a pile in order that coordinate with the book. So the Ankylosaurus with the camper van, and so on and so on. So I use the end pages, you know, to decorate the dinosaurs to make it look similar, and the vehicles at the end. Penny Dale has a bunch of books in this series, so you could actually just like reuse them and put them all in one. So there are many ways to do this. I like to just put them in order, and then, you know, I have multiple ones. So I kind of make a pile like this, and when I pass them out to the kids, it varies, you know, so everybody gets something different. It's sort of in order too, so if there's a kid that, you know, is a little nervous to come up, you kind of know like which kid it is or when it's coming. At the end of the story, it's like a birthday party, so I did make little like birthday hats. These will stick to the flannel board as well. So it's kind of silly, you know, I made the birthday cake, and then I usually end by singing happy birthday. So to keep them, you know, in a little container, I usually just use a plastic bag, write the name, and then I write how many pieces, just in case, you know, I have a big crowd or something, I know how many I have. You can also write yourself a little, you know, books go out of print so quickly. Write yourself a little index card. I color code it so I could just glance at it. So I could just tell the story with the flannel board instead of using the book. If the book happens to go missing, or if, you know, the library doesn't have it anymore. So I kind of stick that in there with all of the pieces. And then you could also, a lot of the soft cover books especially, they will fit inside just a big ziplock. So I put the book in there if I own the book with the all the flannel board pieces. These are some extras, just so I always have enough. And then you could also, if the book is going out of print, sometimes I just write the lyrics. I color code it so I can, you know, do it really quickly. There's a QR code too that goes to a song. So, you know, I have this all in the bag, and that is the flannel board story. So have fun with it. As you can see, they're really super simple. I mean, you don't have to be an artist to do this. I just did a little squiggle lines. Really, really easy. You know, the kids will know what everything is. So have fun.